Good morning. Okay, so I've been writing in the last weeks, but I also been contemplating. I'm doing these exercises of just downloading some information, put it into text, don't reread it. So I know I have started many things, and they're going to be threaded at one point when I feel the need to connect them. But at this moment, I'm just really going with the flow. It's been quite amazing this semester, I would say, where I really allow my emotional body to ride through the wave. And sometimes it's in the highs, sometimes it's in the lows, but I just make decisions based on the observation of this wavelength. And so it's neither on, it's neither off, it's just a constant flow of change. And it will find an equilibrium at the moment that I stop to observe it. So this is giving me a lot of space to trust my body, to trust it in ways that I've never trusted before, because I usually allow my mind to interfere, because my mind is always logically trying to find certain answers to make sense of what I'm reading, of what I'm listening to, of what I am getting triggered by, or it's just like a processor. It's a processor like in the computer, and I'm very good at like absorbing a lot of information, and then when the right question comes, I stop and I start seeing the patterns and seeing if there's any way that I can connect one thought with the other or one word with the other. And then I still allow some inspiration to come through by itself without having to force it. So another thing that is happening with me is I'm under a lot of information coming through, because I decided some months ago, or even a little bit more than that, to start inquiry about certain things about history that I thought I knew, or I learned, or they were taught to me in a specific way. And what I've noticed is that everything that I am inquiring is either extremely new, so they're concepts I never put together or realized that they even existed, or I have been revising what was my position then. And then could be 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 5 years ago. So instead of getting crazy with all this info, because it's a lot, what I've been doing is like really allowing my body to tell me where to go next. There's a lot of trust in me right now that I know that if I have the intention very clear every day, even at the beginning of every activity that I have, I know that I'm going to be guided by something bigger than me. So I've been feeling a lot of warmth in my heart. I've been feeling very connected to the whole cosmos in ways that is very loving, without having to be bypassing other how would I say the word, like other situations that are happening, because I'm becoming very aware. It's almost like the processor that I have between my eyes and my emotional body and my instincts and my intuition is just allowing to find its own equilibrium when it's needed at that specific time. I've also been directing very much my meditations. It's like every day I do a different one, but it's very much directed of things that I would like to work on in different timelines. So what is it about 3 years from now? What was happening 3 years ago? How can I merge that? What are my needs for today? What are my needs for the week? And so on and so forth. So it's interesting to see that time in itself doesn't exist, and it is represented very much by this wavelength that can have different frequencies, and within those frequencies I can tune to it and make things happen in a way. How do you make things happen? Well, I make things happen when I put attention to them. So let's say that I want to achieve something, and within that intention I have an aspiration, and with that aspiration, which is, I'm going to stop there, take a deep breath. And I'm also going to add a humming to it, which is something that I do a lot in order to regulate my nervous system. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I do this quite a lot. And what I find is that it anchors me. The breath, aspiration, inspiration. If you see the etymology of the word, it means breath, to inspire. It comes from Latin. And so anything that I aspire to or inspire is something that is going to be between two frequencies. So this is the time lapse. Me breathing and being conscious about my breath can also be the way I navigate my life, because it's the most valuable thing I have is time, the time I'm living, and the most valuable asset within that time is my breath. If I don't breathe, I don't live, and then there's no Monica. So I've been really focusing on that, but not so much in the intellectual part, but more like in the body. And then now that I'm coming back to talk to you guys, I'm just sharing it. So I haven't really written about it. I'm just, being one with it. So we have the end of June today, and we're going to start, summer is officially over here, and there's a lot of things happening in the outside world, things that can be triggering people more or less. And so this is the message I have right now that is coming through me, and I've been applying, to be honest, like really a very discipline. It is, if I really connect to my heart and connect to the things that make me feel, and I am aware of my emotional body, as I was describing before, and I don't get driven by my emotions, but rather I respond to it at what is needed at the moment, then I am already bypassing a problem that a lot of people have, that is I'm leaving that state of survival that doesn't allow any creativity to be happening. And instead I have all this time, breath, aspiration, to create new things. It is a very creative energy. And my aspiration or my intention has been really to think of myself in the next few years. If things were to be rebuilt again, if things, civilization would need a new way of contribution from my part, how can I give to the tribe contribution? What is it that I can bring forth? And so I've been really, really focused on a lot of tools that I have learned, a lot of ways of thinking that are different that I have been looking into it, and see how I can actually embody this to be in service to humanity. So civilization is a very important word, and I made a lot of inquiry with that. I just finished a couple weeks ago my Austrian economics 9-month seminar with Saifuddin, and I have to admit that it was very impactful in my life. It has been something that I never expected to give me so much material, and I am now invested in the possibility of doing a further inquiry as to how to synthesize this with also another theme that I find very interesting and also relevant in my life, which is psychology. So I know I'm not making sense here. My eyes are closed and I'm trying to pick up the right words that are coming through me. So in summary, what I'm trying to say is like all this paying attention to my breath and having all these intentions really focused by doing specific meditations have allowed me to already start thinking forward not because I want to live in the future, but I want to make sure that when the future arrives, which will arrive even tomorrow, I am really in my most present moment, with the intention of being connected to source, being one with it, and also living the intentions and aspirations I had previously committed to. So it's a practice. It's a practice. Of course, I follow the moon, I follow the planets, but I don't let them drive me. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of the energies. I don't blame Mercury. I don't blame the moon. I don't never blame anything. I am always aware of like certain energies being a little bit more stressful than others. And in that sense, I am very grateful that we have Jupiter where we have it. It's a little bit schizophrenic, but it is good because it has given me a lot of support and going to subject matters that I never thought I would actually read about or listen to. And so I'm enriching my vocabulary, but also my concepts and trying to make sense of the meaning of where we're at right now. I've always been looking for that meaning, but I don't want to identify with these ideologies, because the moment that I completely identify with any of them, then I'm cooked. I'm not free anymore. So my process is just to be able to acknowledge them, to synthesize them, to see how I can become more proficient in certain things, so I can give back to civilization, to society, so we can build something that it is meaningful, as opposed to being, I don't know, puppets of a bigger scheme. So asking questions has become a vital activity in my day to day. I ask questions, everything I read, I ask, not if it's true, it's like, how do I relate to that? I'm reading about history, politics, ideologies that have shaped the civilization of the last, 300 years, even more. So I'm interested in seeing how we got severely programmed. And I can assure you that one can get out of the program. One can get out of the matrix. So that's where I am right now. So there's a new moon coming this week, and I know there's some other planetary aspects that I will have to look at. Let me pause this to see if I can look at something. Oh yeah, so the new moon is going to be squaring the nodes. Venus is still in Cancer. The new moon is in Cancer. And we had Saturn going retrograde yesterday, and I believe Neptune is going to follow in the next couple of days. I actually have felt that it is necessary to slow down. And when planets are in retrograde, their movement slows down a little bit, so we go even inward. So this is great. I was born with Saturn non-retrograde, but direct in Pisces. So I understand this energy quite well. The energy that we're living right now, where like there's no definition, we don't know what is a boundary, but I'm actually working so much on my boundaries, my personal boundaries. I have Saturn in my first house, so I did work around that last year. And now it's in my second house, so it's like how I am supporting, because Saturn is a supporting factor. Once it defines, which is a limitation, it can also be transformed into something very supportive. It will hold you, it will protect you. So being my second house, a lot of people are scared, like, oh my God, Saturn is second house, money. And I'm like, no, it is like, I've been studying what money is. I've been studying what economy means. I've been preparing for this moment, because it's not about focusing on the scarcity of not having, but actually focusing on the scarcity of the meaning of a value in life. This is really the key. So I'm going to say it again. If you focus on the scarcity of not having, obviously the hole is going to get bigger. But if you actually make time to understand what is it that you value in your life, those things that you value, which could be your life per se, your own life, the time that you have in your life, the time you have to breathe from breath to breath, and you understand how scarce it is because you don't know when that last breath is going to be, that's the most valuable. And then you start making very wise decisions about how you relate to everything that is valuable in your life, everything that you need, and then you make priorities, and you can actually start having and living a low time preference, which is a very important subject matter that I learned during my studies of, and I'm applying, of Austrian economics. But I'll write more, and I'm writing more about it in my book, which I am completely devoted to right now because I finally finished a lot of my previous commitments. So it's coming. I'm also editing a bunch of conversations that I had before. The next one coming is with my group, my study groups. I facilitate these beautiful study groups and for almost 2 years or a year and a half, and they've been so important supporting my progress of individuation. So I'm gonna finish right now, get back to editing, and I'm gonna put this Substack up so you can listen to my voice. As you may have noticed, there's a transcript that is always attached to it. Now I do not have time to revise the transcript, so let's see how bad AI can understand my accent. I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful week. New moons are to make intentions. So my intention for a while has been to really connect to my heart, to what I feel and how important it is to feel alive in this moment, giving our best. And so I can contribute to this civilization in positive ways and inspirational ways. That's really what it is. That's it. Bye.